old classic League of Legends here a little bit.
Yes.
Got to keep those consistent. I'm very interested in the jungle matchup here today, so that Lee Sin ban directed at Junhao going to come out immediately. And with that taken off the board, both these guys, huge Junhao Jarvan guys. Everybody's a Junhao Jarvan guy in 2026, but these guys especially are Junhao Jarvan guys. They play them every series that they get the opportunity to, and obviously each one can only be played by one apiece.
Want to see what the priorities are going to look like. A Jace first pick here. Now, globally, we have seen that Jace has started to move out of the top lane. Obviously, was a big jungler for a large portion of the first half of the year. And then now, today, we saw Berserker play a Jace bottom lane. I would personally like to see that from Leave because I don't think his mage play has been that incredible. So giving him an AD kind of flexible marksman that still allows him to outplay very much kind of fits into that wheelbarrow for him. But we'll have to see whether or not EDG are even going to prioritize that.
Well, there's one of them coming on through perhaps, although Junhao has been favoring the carries a little bit more in this summer split and is flipping through them right now, considering quite a few different options. We did get to see the Nidalee from him against top, so that's not the most unthinkable thing in the world. Not going to be coming out in game number 1, though. We'll let Fearless run its course for a little while before we start busting out the Nidalee jungle.
Hey, too many bad matchups, and you know he did lose. He got a 4,000 gold lead over Tien at some point, and then they still lost the game. So Nidalee is just like the Jhin of the jungle, and we'll leave it at that. So far, ThunderTalk, I think, not only have a lot of flexibility because they have this Syndra that can obviously go into bot or mid, but just having the access to really, really easy playmaking tools in these two champs, awesome. And now you can even punish a Ziggs or a Jace if they don't have Flash. So these are just good tools, I think, from ThunderTalk that give them a lot of playmaking.
Yeah, hovering through a variety of engaged supports here. They're going to end up going with the Nautilus. Hard to go wrong there, and will give a lot of engaged potential over to Parukia. Lets you lock down just about anybody. Does everything you need it to do. I do wonder if we end up seeing the Camille in this draft. Still super high prio for some teams. It's not one we've seen out of Feathers so far, and he still does have plenty more options available. Has been jamming the Bard and the Nautilus so far pretty much, as well as a game of Shen and a game of Leona so far, and they do go back to the Shen well. So they are going to be looking for these really long-range engage opportunities with the Jarvan Shen combo, and Junhao and Feather leading the charge.
Something that I love about Shen that maybe doesn't go super explored is that one problem that you can find when you're playing with mages is that on side lanes, they need a lot of protection. They need to have someone hovering them. You need to have them escorted back into the waves or back into mid lane at some point in the game. And Shen allows for mages to kind of step up and say, okay, I'm playing on this side of the map. If you're going to be putting two members with a laner and a jungler, or that plus a support, Shen can help. Jungle with Jarvan makes it really easy to get around and hopefully protect this champion. So I just like that ThunderTalk are leaving a lot of cards out onto the table, saying you don't know where the Syndra is going, and we know that the Ziggs is highly likely in bottom lane. So your focus now is just getting rid of really bad matchups that can still exist in mid lane, or some of the other champions that we may be looking for in top lane as well here for Keshi.
Yeah, for sure. So EDG going to take the route of just banning to defend ZDZ on this Jace. I think that's a pretty safe bet here. You at the very least know that there's not a top laner facing you down. The flex of the Shen up to the top lane for Keshi, of all people, seems incredibly unlikely. Do notice that the Ambessa is still up. This has been one of the highest ban rate champions against Keshi all season long. Poppy is banned away as well. It wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world for me to see ThunderTalk just snap that one up, keep the Syndra flex alive until R5. If you don't ban it here, EDG, I think that's a pretty clean pathway through the draft, and they don't ban it.
Ooh, okay, let's see it. Ambessa with a Shen ultimate, and you're just going kind of for what feels like a dive composition at that point. If they want something that is just going to be stable and create a lot of good positions for them later, I wouldn't mind a Cassante. It's a champion that ZDZ really loves later on in the series, and just having that takeaway, you can go even with the Jace, and as long as you do not get solo killed in the first 8 minutes of the game, it is so playable once he gets his first back. So what's it going to be, ThunderTalk?
You got to pick something, boys.
Uh-oh. No, on, we're too old. Oh, we got an Olaf. Okay, Olaf.
Wow. Okay.
That's good. That's really OP into Ziggs and Jace.
All right, you know what? Let's go for it, Keshi. This is his first career Olaf in the LPL. He's just going to snap it right on up. We're going to assume it's going top lane. Would be a surprise to see these shuffle around anywhere else. And, yeah, I mean, it's not the Ambessa, but it's still in that carry wheelhouse. And, yeah, I think it's a nice little matchup against the Nautilus and the Ziggs.
Ooh, now you're getting Trundle, but it's like, cool, you pick Trundle to counter the Olaf, but there's a Jarvan on the enemy team, right? So Jarvan just cataclysms the Trundle, and Trundle's just sitting there like, what do I have flash, yes or no? If I don't, then I guess GG, because I'm not going to be able to play the game.
Hear me
I
out.
think this is a really smart gambit coming in from ThunderTalk.
Hear me out. You can flex the Trundle top and the Jace jungle, and that is the worst matchup ever for Olaf. Olaf hates to play into Trundle.
Completely agree. I would be down to see it. Let's see if ZDZ's got the uniques, because we've kind of wanted to see him either go more into being a safe player and more of like a team player and not necessarily a carry guy. I think his Gnar has been a bit questionable. That Vayne game had a lot of spots where I wasn't believing that he was going to be able to win it, and then they do versus BLG. We're getting the Sivir, so we now have the exact composition here from ThunderTalk. It's not dive, but it kind of feels like it when you have an Olaf, a Jarvan, and a Shen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome to have On the Hunt alongside the Olaf. You'll love that combos ended up coming through. And all in all, EDG are not the best composition at pressuring this Sivir. So I like the blows being traded here, and it does not look like EDG is prioritizing that Trundle-Olaf matchup over either A, individual experience on the characters, or B, you know, the costs that come with playing the Jace jungle instead of something that does bring a little bit of gank potential with the pillar. It's going to be much tougher to make that Jace work with a low CC setup. So they do make the decision that it is going to be the Jace top lane of the Trundle jungle, and if that's going to be the case, I kind of like what ThunderTalk have brought to the table.
ThunderTalk have a lot of good ways to kind of fight later on into this game. I mean, you have the Sivir with Shen just providing so much utility versus...
The arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards you and I just yapping on here with nothing to talk about on the screen. There we go!
Yay!
My gyos are not the biggest today, but...
We did not practice, guys. These fan leaders, we need to do better. What was that?
Yeah, that was... We had such long downtime to do it, too.
Yeah, you had all of this prep. You could have been Batmaning it.
It's all right. They've got a 3-game day ahead of them, so...
True.
You know, gotta pace yourself. You got here early. You just had to watch LNG play 2 games.
That was a quick one.
So, yeah,
you just watched LNG play 2 games. That's your punishment.
It was quick, but it was difficult. So you know what? If they're a little low energy now, give them a break. ThunderTalk EDG here to save that.
Already see some early trades on taking a very big chunk out of his HP bar thanks to a lot of Ziggs bombs landing. And junglers are going to opposite sides. When you're playing this Olaf matchup, a large part of it is, hey, if I land a single axe on you as Jace, you're getting ran down. So the longer this lane can be for Keshi, the better. And if the single time that the jungler comes, he has Ghost Flash. He gets ganked once, he gets put behind, he dies once in this lane. It is really tough for him to have kill pressure against the Jace until, I don't know, until his first item.
Yeah. No, eyes on Xiaohao, what he's going to be able to get done in these earlier laning phases. Of course, the push here in the very earliest levels going to go the way of On and Feather. I really like this Sivir counter pick to the Ziggs bot lane in particular. It's got some nice interactions with the spell shield, and does let you contest the push, and it lets you play a traditional marksman into a matchup where most traditional marksmen kind of just fold. I really like that they were able to get themselves this on R5, and I like the decision to pick for Keshi and save that Syndra flex as long as possible.
Fresh ward here from Keshi, so I feel really bad for him because now his wave is pushing away. Trundle's going to show.
Oh, Keshi. I feel like you saw Xiaohao for a good, like, 0.75 seconds before you started turning in the opposite direction, my man. That is what we do not like to see. Getting a little too aggressive there. First blood going the way of Xiaohao. Nicely done by him, recognizing the lose conditions for ThunderTalk and capitalizing immediately.
Yeah, and he now misses out on a big wave because he decided not to go for teleport in this matchup. That was Flash Ignite. It's 300 gold. We'll see what ZDZ opts for, because if there's no, like, damage items, as we see he goes for tier plus boots, there is actually still some room for Olaf to get a kill back and equalize this lane. Junhao, for his own benefit, you know, hey, top laner went up, got first blood, I get double scuttle, and I get to path down again. So looking less likely we'll get a Junhao Keshi reunion, but at least ThunderTalk were able to get something out on the other side of the map.
Yeah. Once again, love this Sivir. Just gets to play up and aggressive into Nautilus Ziggs in a way that basically no other champion does in the 1v2 and actually get onto that siege minion.
Ooh.
They do still have this kind of backup plan later on in the game. They're still a very powerful, hard engaged dive composition, but you definitely do not want to see this Olaf get any further behind than they already are. Nice early lead to EDG here, going back on through their clears. Pathing back up towards the top side. Xiaohao going to get another crack at this one soon, as ZDZ is setting up a pretty nice freeze.
This is tough, because the whole reason that you want to go for Olaf is, again, you land a spear, an axe, and you can just run him down, but the wave is now in front of his turret. There's a lot of vision top side, which protects him from another jungle gank, and I was kind of hopeful that Junhao would go top, because he did like his Raptors and then could have pivoted into the river. That's not going to be the case. They're going to keep control of top side. Keshi's basically a walking 300 gold sack of money waiting for EDG if they want it. And he can't really do anything in this spot.
Yeah, but at least understanding the timing here, playing a little bit safer, a little bit more back, recognizing that...
Oh, and they can realm warp too.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be difficult for Keshi. I have to see, definitely get some axes in on that wave as best as he can, but this is a tough outplay to do. He is not Cassante. He is still level 5 on this Olaf. Gonna try to race for 6. Could be the best thing for him. He cannot do it. ZDZ gets his first of the game, but Feather now getting involved in the bottom lane, goes forward for the dash, locks down Parukia on advancing forward as well with the Ghost. All they get for it is a pretty nice trade, though. No real kill pressure from this ThunderTalk bottom lane.
He's one minion off. It is heartbreak for ThunderTalk, and EDG are just going to continue to eat good. Bulldog can even use the Realm Warp, so they can save this, use it to maybe make a play for the Grubs that are in 2 minutes, or look to play on the bottom side. This is what I was worried about coming into this matchup. Keshi has been pretty decent for his own individual as a rookie coming into the year, but ZDZ has taken a lot of advantage of making sure that he has strong matchups. And this was supposed to be a counter matchup. Good, I think a good pathing already from Xiaohao to set this up and basically ruin the ThunderTalk early game.
Yeah, man, and this is, you know, this has also kind of been some of what we've seen from Keshi all season.
Xiaohao? Brother.
Let's just pretend that didn't happen. We've seen this all season from Keshi. He is at any time liable to just first time a champion and have it not go well. So definitely a rough performance on the Olaf so far. Not totally taken out of the game, but this 600 to 700 gold lead for ZDZ is really going to be felt for the next few minutes. As long as Heru can stay stable and On can continue to farm up, they still have a way to play this game out later on. But definitely plan A a little out the window for ThunderTalk.
Parukia, I don't want to say like it's necessarily like his fault, but they're not putting enough vision on the top side to, or EDG have enough vision to just play and keep him safe. It's not like Parukia's visited this lane either, which is maybe something that I could have seen happening with just having a Ziggs versus Sivir, and you're playing up against the Shen. It's likely you're not going to find anything in the 2v2. So I feel bad for Keshi, but it's going to continue to keep going like this. Across the map, though, ThunderTalk, for them, they got their first dragon of the game. Grubs is now coming up, and I think this is one of the biggest objectives for EDG. They have played so many games in the start of this split around these Grubs, and specifically about taking first turret early in a game. And they have the Ziggs to do it. You're already seeing Leva's recalling. This could be them starting to put 4 members up on this side of the map.
Yeah, definitely. They're well set up to do so. Feather is making his way on up here. But I just don't know that the tools are quite ready and available. Heru does have that 40 stacks of Splitters of Wrath. He's done a good job of farming them off of Bulldog, so he will have the double Q. But that's not going to offset the kills on Xiaohao and ZDZ. EDG have full control over this top side of the map. They're going to flex that muscle, and they're going to take themselves all 3 grubs.
Exactly. Nothing for them to look for. They still have Rise, so again, possibility, but 3 grubs, go top lane. They've done pretty good damage. If they can get this turret, then you're suddenly now going to be sitting at 1,600 gold up on your opponents. I'm seeing 4 people from ThunderTalk try to answer.
Set up on this dive here. Keshi already below half, now below a third, now at a quarter, now getting taken even lower. Keshi just getting poked on out here by Leave and ZDZ, and that should kind of just stop this play in its tracks. I don't know what the ThunderTalk trio can do when their top laner is taken out of the play so hard.
They can go for a 3-on-3. Trundle is in the area. Just looking at ZDZ not have like a ton of mana. Leave is also at half. They stop the turret take, which is really, really important. And in mid lane, Heru trades a plate. We saw that Bulldog, while this is happening, he went bottom lane and he got away for himself. So it keeps the gold even right now for ThunderTalk. And it's really, really good that they were able to keep that turret alive just so that they are not bleeding out gold and either having ZDZ sit with like 1,100 gold lead or getting Leave, you know, closer to his first item.
Yeah, that's definitely going to give them that little bit of wave clear advantage once they are able to get it. But yeah, ThunderTalk are doing their best to stem the bleeding. Like you said, first turret doesn't end up going in a window that was available. Their second dragon coming up here in about 45 seconds. The bottom side has been much more favorable for ThunderTalk. ZDZ is still up on top here. He doesn't have the teleport either. So they have a chance to play a 4-on-4 without the strong Jace, with the advantage over the Olaf playing too much of a factor. Let's see if they can flex that to get themselves this second dragon.
Another bit of Alk complaining. I hope by week 2 we fix the quest trackers. Because I'm sure that ZDZ is rather close to finishing his quest. He got a couple of plates. He has a lot of champion damage. Another aspect of, I think, the quest that goes maybe a little undervalued or under-discussed is solo lanes get quest XP based on champion damage. And so that's kind of why I think, or at least a portion of why we see supports walking into mid so often.
Whoa, Junhao takes the flag and drag to try to chase down Parukia a little bit. It felt aggressive, but doesn't get punished for it too much. ZDZ starting to walk his way down. He will arrive in mid lane before too long. He's got a huge lead on Keshi distance-wise. He's going to arrive much sooner, and ThunderTalk realized this. They have to back away. Heru's still defending mid, and all 5 members of EDG going to arrive at the Dragon. They're going to collect this.
Yeah, Mountain Drag did a hell of a number on his health bar. This might just be an in and steal.
Feather trying to get in there, tries to make the steal happen for Junhao, will not succeed. Flashback out, tons of damage here. Parukia gonna get executed by Keshi. He's gonna be able to run down his lane counterpart, gets that kill as well. On shows up, has the taunt from Feather to line up a target for a 3rd kill. ThunderTalk find a beautiful team fight for themselves off of that Dragon Steal attempt, and Leave now with nowhere left to go, has to flash over the wall. Unleashed power nearly takes him down.
And they lost the Dragon, but ThunderTalk get to turn the fight in the exact manner that they want it to. Junhao with a great ultimate puts 3 people into the Cataclysm, and On gets to survive thanks to Feather having access to that Stand United. All of this short-range damage from EDG when you have the Trundle, and even the Nautilus, and even this Jace can't do anything when there's a anti-auto attack field thanks to the Shen. Really clutch stuff. I hope we get into a review of that one because ThunderTalk, I think, played that really, really cleanly. And look, it's a bit of a margin, right? Like, you're going in for this smite fight. It's a 50-50 at this point. But I just like that they put all 3 of them in the Cataclysm, and I get to watch Olaf run into this backline. Rise and Ziggs are nowhere nearby for this.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where all the damage of that Cataclysm was coming from. It was like the Ziggs was on the other team. It's a beautiful scatter the weak from Heru, connects onto all 3, and lines up for 3 or 4 boomerang autos. Just getting rained into that pit, bouncing between those members. And EDG are torn apart. A beautiful setup from ThunderTalk, like you said, and they take the gold lead for it.
And they're putting a lot of members on the bottom side of the map. This is 4 people for a full health turret right now. Heru has to lose his flash. That's Trundle Pillar plus Satchel Bomb. Very creative. Olaf is hitting turrets. Ryze can roam warp if they need it. But they're not going to get this turret. We're trying to get gold now, and now we're going to lose TP. Herald spawns in minute 45. I think if EDG were able to grab that turret, they would have felt a lot more secure about being able to contest this objective.
Definitely fair. Kept it held at bay instead. They do finally claim their first turret gold later on. Lead was able to get that up the top side. That additional damage from the Ziggs, but ThunderTalk very well and happy. Okay, so we can't see the progress on the quests, but we do see when the quest is complete.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So both top laners do now have access to the TPs. ZD's already used his. Keshi has not, so keeping that in the back of our minds for the foreseeable future. Rift Herald's going to spawn here in just about a moment. And again, it is the top side focus here for both sides. See if ZDZ can get more value out of this Jace this time. Oh,
Parukia.
Very nice taunt comes through from Feather. Parukia not able to Spider-Man his way out in time, tries to flash away, but Junhao's all over that. Cataclysm for the execution, and ThunderTalk make a pick right before this Rift Herald spawns.
It's probably going to be that Parukia and EDG are actually going to have access to the Rift Herald, and this is going to be EDG or ThunderTalk trying to move in and reassemble their lanes right now, because you have Olaf who's pushing top. Bulldog just is trying to get his Rod of Ages. We are 15 minutes in. This is another instance of Bulldog not having his Rod of Ages early, and he wasn't even put down behind this game. I go back to that Cassiopeia game versus LGD where we're looking at a 15-minute Rod of Ages. Similarly here for Bulldog. The nice thing I can say about this is that it will make it so that he probably gets level 16 a lot sooner than Heru does, but I'm a little bit worried because ThunderTalk are scaling completely fine in this game.
Definitely Heru continuing to farm up here at a little bit of a risk for a dive, but Feather is here to back up his mid laner. Still is a 4 versus 2. They're going to have to back away Scatter, going to stop Xiaohao in his tracks, but they do stay on top of Heru, and they do finish him off.
No flash, right? They got it on the last play there. This is Junhao who is now doing the Rift Herald. So many members, 3 grubs here for EDG, and you have the Ziggs. We can keep going if you really need to, but what I expect now from EDG is they're going to litter this bottom side river and jungle with wards so they can get ready for the dragon. Invisible pillar.
On.
Awesome.
Does manage to still walk it out. The Ghost does its job on, holds onto his flash. He's going to be thankful to have access to that one as well, as this guy is now the furthest ahead individual player in the game. And they are going to need to lean on him, like we said. That snowball through Olaf game plan, a little bit on the wayside for the time being. But the scale with Sivir game plan is still well and truly alive. Especially if Junhao continues to find those big Cataclysm engages alongside Feather. Both those members doing very well this game.
How do ThunderTalk decide to use this Rift Herald? Because Rift Herald this season has been all about dropping it in the middle of a fight, using it for its knock-up and its ability to move around. It seems like EDG are not going to even bother to go for this. They're just playing the map, trying to get gold. They're under zero threat of like a dragon stacking game. And Heru's got to be careful. He's got no flash coming up. So if Parukia really wanted to, like, he could just walk over. You could have had the Trundle Pillar that could try to turn with ZDZ. Very, very dangerous there for the Syndra.
Yeah, I don't think EDG are happy with this at all. They don't get access to the dragon. They don't get the full turret on top side. They give Keshi a solo turret on the bottom side. He's getting to free farm, get himself back into the game. He's less behind the Jace than he was before those 3 plates went over. And now still able to just re-establish control over all 3 lanes are ThunderTalk. They maintain themselves a 1,000 gold lead. And they're still scaling into this game. Leave about to get caught. Taunt flash into the Cataclysm. Can't quite finish him off, though. He flashes away. On! Flashes after, connects the full distance boomerang, and now has Parukia to just tear apart. 2 kills to On. ThunderTalk 2-0.
And ThunderTalk are going to go from an 1,800 gold lead to potentially 1,000 plus on this. Syndra's hitting a turret. She's going to get that. They try to cancel the Rift Herald, and it completely fails. They get a mid-tier 1. They're going to go for more.
And this is going to just be another charge in from Junhao. Manages to get a second connection on through. Xiaohao, love the idea with the pillar, brother, but you left too much space. You got to do it right in his face. Otherwise, he's going to steer right around it.
Okay, so they see Feather here, but they have no control. They know. Oh, leave.
Unacceptable.
Okay. I mean, you have to know that he's in this brush, right? Like, we saw him walk into this. He loses his flash. On has to use his in order to grab this kill. And EDG are very, very thankful that there's no time, that there's no Baron up, because that could have been the turn here for ThunderTalk if this was 3 or 4 minutes into the future. Save themselves that headache, but now you're down 3,000 gold. You don't really have a side lane that you can play for because, look, the Olaf is essentially caught back up into this game, and we're not making a lot of successful side lane plays. A lot of them have been centered around bringing leave to hit turrets, but we also haven't finished that.
We talked to the pre-show about the On Revenge game. This is looking like an On Revenge game right here, Alk. This is a very strong performance on the Sivir. Great job in that last team fight. Love the aggressive flash forward, just recognizing that there is no threat to him. He's got his big beefy Jarvan and Shen right next to him. He is plenty happy to be able to just step forward and dish out the damage.
It is a Hextech Rift, which does change the timings on map movements. You just get out of base a lot faster, even with the home guards change this season, and you can move around. You have Jarvan that can do that. I really wanted to see more map plays coming in from EDG.
Junhao making it happen again. Over the wall, gets onto ZDZ, forces the flash on a hit.
Go.
Waiting on the opposite side. They managed to get away from the scatter somehow, but On is still here with the damage. Heru there to back him up, and they find their man one way or the other. It's Leave, who finds himself in the death chamber 15 seconds before Baron spawns.
You have to play fast with this ThunderTalk comp, and they are doing exactly that. A great level of execution that we're seeing from them. Whereas EDG, this team wants to play slow. You want to make plays on sides, use the Hextech Rift, use the Realm Warp from Bulldog. That is just not becoming a reality for them. They didn't finalize that kill. I kind of cast my mind back to the top tier 2 that we were talking about earlier, where they were sieging, but they weren't able to take the turret, and they weren't able to punish Heru. That, I think, backfires for them, because I look at On now. He's only 40 CS up, but he's 2,500 gold over Leave, and all of this movement of trying to get the Ziggs in the right place has now left a rather large gap in the wallets of EDG.
Yeah, I mean, On's also just, he's got to clean up all the kills. He's got 100% KP. That's not often what we get to see out of the bot lane. Usually there's some amount of action occurring away from them. Oh, Keshi's getting Realm Warped on, but
it
he's
doesn't
just gonna
matter.
walk this one out, man. He's got Ghost. He doesn't even need to pop Ragnarok.
Yeah, like, you cannot send Olaf, who is, at this point, like, fine versus just Jace. You can't only send 2 members. It needs to be multiple members, and you have the Realm Warp. I get that, you know, EDG are saying, okay, if we put too many members, do ThunderTalk just start Baron? But you are getting a little bit worried because you don't do Baron particularly fast. And now ThunderTalk, if they get this next dragon, are on soul point at 22 minutes, which is very problematic. I'm looking at On, who is about 1,400 gold if he's spent all of his gold on his last back away from an IE, and Leave's not even done 2 items.
Definitely not in the contestable territory here is On. You need to be able to blow this guy up right at the start of fights. And this isn't a composition that's really built to be able to do that. This is the R5 Sivir, remember, from ThunderTalk. Yeah. They waited to see everything up before locking in this champion, and On is getting paid off for that nicely. Heru agreeing to flex the Syndra over to mid. That's a ridiculous sentence to say, but welcome to 2026 League of Legends. And it opens up the opportunity for this big carry.
EDG find anything in the side lanes. They just haven't been able to make a play. The fact that Heru gets to keep his flash for the back half of this has been rather impressive. Great job from ThunderTalk. I'm liking their comp. It's just getting better and better and better. And the problems we've had with EDG have not changed, whether it is a draft change or a player change. Their mid games have been really, really worrisome. And I, again, just am kind of baffled that we're not getting. It almost feels like EDG are stuck here in this game. They don't want to make a play because they know if they mess it up, the game's over. But if they don't do anything, they don't find anything, it's also still over.
Oh, Feather coming in on the flank. They see an opportunity onto ZDZ. They find Xiaohao en route, though, and they're happy to blow the CC onto him. Scout of the Week connects. Cataclysm comes out. Flash is forced. Taunt connects onto ZDZ. Heru there for the backup damage. On coming through the base portal, coming into the middle of 3 members, and happy to be able to take that fight. Once again, this guy is just too far ahead. 2-0 team fight for ThunderTalk, and they're going to rip the Baron.
I don't think this Baron is real. It is Ziggs. Trundle's going to come out of base, and Feather on are really, really low. You see that because On can't stand and fight. They're just going to turn.
Ragnarok is up. Here comes the Flash Scout of the Week coming out of Heru. Leave going to have to get back over the wall, but On and Feather are waiting on the other side. Rollmore about to safety for Xiaohao, but a 3rd kill is received. The Baron might have been fake, but that kill gold is all too real.
Yeah, it's going to be just saving off the Baron here. We'll take a look back as to where this ended up going on. Okay, so we just try to take a portal. Feather tries to go and punish. You get Keshi TP. I won't lie here, Gordo. I think if you are Mr. Rise in this game, maybe a roam warp earlier to get into this fight means that you kill Feather and Junhao. This is completely illegal from On. You should never be allowed to take a portal and live, but Spell Shield plus Shen ult. Yeah.
All right, well, Baron round 2, melting down very fast here. On doing a lot of damage to this one. It's down below 2K. Xiaohao looking for the steal. Scout of the Week going to keep him at bay. And in goes Junhao. Gets that Cataclysm onto the
On!
He doesn't have flash, but look at the damage on On. Way too much, way too fast, and On is shut down. But the Olaf is popping off. He's Ragnaroking through the team. It's a double kill to Keshi. And just like that, Leave is the last one standing. And Junhao has no interest in letting him go. ThunderTalk run down the Ziggs, ace to ThunderTalk.
And they're going to go for even more. They've got a top turret they can hit. They've got an inhibitor turret that they can take plates off of. And ThunderTalk just roll over them. It is a 1-for-5 trade in favor of them. And now they're going to go all the way up to 10,000 gold and look impossible to break right before the Hextech Soul's up.
Yeah, they've got too many threats now. The Olaf has gotten to scale into the game, got enough gold from those earlier fights, and they get on, but it takes a long time, a lot of damage dished out before then.
I was worried about playing Trundle into Jarvan, but maybe you just got to go back to the classics. Maybe you just have to ult the Ziggs so he can't get out. He can do no damage in these fights. And this Olaf is so dangerous. It was put down early, but he was able to come back thanks to some, I think, really creative lane assignments coming in from ThunderTalk, and very obviously, EDG did not push the pace of the game. A few too many mistakes with generating leads around the map. Junhao's invincible, man.
Yeah, Junhao is just always looking for the next fight. In comes the Cataclysm. Parukia doesn't have the flash, and that means Parukia is not staying on the map. Heru cleaning up that kill. 5v4 on the map.
He is a 3-item Jarvan with a GA at 26 minutes. He feels like Thanos.
They are going to try to roam warp out. They will successfully do so. Keshi, though, getting that cooldown in exchange for his Ragnarok, which will be back up in pretty short order. And meanwhile, On just gets to push out of this bot lane turret.
Is Feather going to find the solo kill? Because it might be level 15 to 11, but I'm pretty sure you still lose.
ZDZ gonna put that one to the test here. I don't know about this. Protoplasm Artist is popped. ZDZ.
All right.
He's got to use his flash. He gets the kill. Also, there goes Keshi, who gets picked somehow in the mid lane, but it's going to be return fire from Heru from On, and they will trade back too. It's a 3v3 on the map. ThunderTalk going to secure the mid inhibitor and back away.
Okay, my fault. I did not think that Feather would miss all of his spells. You know, if that's the case, then yeah, sure. ZDZ can win. He had to lose his flash for it. But guess what now, Gordo? ThunderTalk, they get a Hextech Soul. The Baron's going to run out. They get 5,000 gold from this. EDG will get a kill onto Keshi, a kill onto Feather. They'll take this turret if they're lucky. That's not even going to go and happen for them. ThunderTalk are in complete control of game number 1, and exactly why we have seen this team really start to turn it up here in Split 3.
Yeah, weirdly enough, the picks onto Feather and Keshi are probably a bad sign. They're a sign that this game is broken down. We're taking fights in random places on the map. We're just trading things whenever we get the chance. And ThunderTalk get free access to the Soul Dragon. They do secure it for themselves. Hex Tech Soul now being rocked by this team as they regroup, reassemble, 5 members barreling down top lane. What do you do about it, EDG?
I don't think there's very much they can do. You can play on 2 if you really need it, but I mean, I like the fact that we see Junhao and Feather staying off in Fog of War, controlling it so EDG can do nothing. You can put a pillar, that's nice.
Oh, there goes the Cataclysm. They lock down ZDZ, looking to just focus down this Jason. Junhao will do so. Hook connects on the Feather. I don't think that's the target you wanted. Flag and drag through the team. Knock up on a Bulldog. They're just going to take him down one at a time. Realm Warp interrupted. Xiaohao barely clinging to life with that subjugate, but not for long. On finds him with the boomerang. And ThunderTalk, in a very solid performance, will be able to take out game number 1. They struggled a little bit in the early game, but in classic EDG fashion, not able to finish it out. ThunderTalk take the lead.
22-6? 15,000 gold lead if they can grab and get this kill on the leave. It's not going to occur. 14K will be the last count for them. Really, really smart game from them. They knew, hey, Keshi, it sucks that you're dying, brother. I got double scuttle for Junhao early. We got the first dragon of the game. We're winning on the opposite side of the map. All you have to do is not outright lose us the game. And I think ThunderTalk played around the fact that they just didn't have a top laner for the first few minutes.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the LPL broadcast, the main one, they've got my back there. They flashed up some stats for Junhao and Feather as we were getting towards the back half of that game. And I think these two have been such a huge driver for this team this split so far. I think they're just taking smarter engage angles. They're playing the map better. They're using this kind of double roamer meta to really great effect to set up some very talented solo laners and some very talented carries that are on this team. On has himself a great game. Just get funneled every bit of resources that he can find on a pick that is really well suited to the draft. And yeah, Keshi falls behind, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They're able to find these really strong fights around the dragon, get money back into Keshi's pockets, and use it to find a victory.
The game that EDG has been playing in these game 1s with Ziggs and 3 Grubs, I think is really smart and can be a great way to kind of cheat being up on the map, saying, hey, look, we're going to take turret plates. That's where all of the gold is now in the game, outside of kills and massive bounties. Killing turrets, utilizing the crystalline overgrowths and being able to blow up turrets, really smart. But the minute that they floundered on that, Bulldog had 0 pressure in side lane. That's kind of what we talked about from the draft was, okay, if Olaf is dead, if Syndra is weak, then Ryze and Jace get to just be on side lanes the entire game and destroy turrets with a Ziggs. They floundered at the like a moment there, kind of at the 15-minute mark. We're talking about that second top tier 1 or top tier 2 in top lane. They needed to grab that. And if they don't grab it, they don't keep hold of the gold lead, this team kind of flounders, and we've seen a ton of mistakes from them mechanically and just at a macro level.
Completely agree with you there. And 100% KP for Junhao in that game, by the way. Not that it's the hardest task in the world on the Jarvan, but it still speaks to how much he was a driver. And yeah, this team fight, I mean, is the one that makes all the difference, right?
Yeah.
Really fantastic Cataclysm, really great follow-up from the team. On gets fed, Keshi gets back into the game, and it's full steam ahead from there. They basically never give up the gold lead from that point, and they barely even give up kills from that point. There's like two, maybe 3 kills picked up by EDG after that dragon fight for the whole rest of the game.
You know where they were? It was the Keshi and Feather death.
It was.
So I feel
I
something
stand by
for the
good
EDG
deaths.
plays.
Those gave the soul eventually.
Those were good deaths. They eventually led to the soul. So I agree with you. I'm with you on that one. EDG, I'm done with the experiment. Can we please stop playing mages? I know that they're strong, but you have an incredibly talented marksman player on your team. Let him play the AD carries. Like, imagine if it was Sivir here for leave. I don't know of how much things change, because, you know, if we're changing the Sivir, then some other things might change in the draft, but he is a great AD carry player. Let him play. We saw the Lucian game versus LGD. You and I were both there for that.
Yeah. I think that was his best game in the split so far. Not that that's saying a huge amount. but it's been pretty bad games for most of the time. But that said, the Lucia game was good. It was clean up until, you know, a little small error ends up giving over a big shutdown. But by and large, I mean, it looked like you had a much clearer path to a victory than what you've been able to put out here. Once again, EDG, Xiaohao finds a strong early game, has a good plan on the first clear, builds up a lead for EDG, but that is basically the only thing they have going for them, and they are not able to snowball it through for a victory.
Yeah. This is worrisome now because you are EDG, where you've somehow in your first 2 series, you've thrown a big gold lead and you've gotten stomped in a lot of these games so far. From macro and micro perspective, you are potentially you're now on the risk of going 0-3, and we already talked about their series coming up, AL and WE next week. Going 0-5 to start a double round robin is kind of asking to end up in the bottom half. It is only 2 slots here that put you into play-ins.
Yeah, and I mean, you're looking at those 2 slots real close right now. You're becoming intimately familiar with those 2 slots. Even though it is only 2, it's hard to do worse than 0-5. It's actually about the worst you can do. Through
It's only worse by 0-6.
Yeah, I mean, it can only be worse with a 6th game added. I guess it could be a little worse if you didn't get that win over BLG. We're assuming that they don't find more game wins along the way. The fact that they got one against BLG shows that should be possible. Nice player of the game to my boy Junhao here. He remains on a tear since playoffs last split.
Dude.
That is going to be his 5th MVP.
26% damage share, 30% damage taken this game. 6-0-16. Having a deathless game on Jarvan, if you just took all the context away, usually gets you reported. This guy looked untouchable on this champion.
Yeah, no, I mean, this guy is absolutely crushing it here. Having a fantastic split. I'm incredibly impressed by Junhao so far this split. I don't know what changed over the course of the last couple of...
He got the mojo.
He got the mojo, man. That's all to be said. And sorry, by the way, I was off. It's his 6th MVP. They have won 9 games since the playoffs started with their play-in series up against IG. They've won 9 games, and in 6 of them, it has been an MVP over to Junhao. This guy is the engine that is propelling this team forward.
Well, I'm really impressed. We highlighted him for a reason going into this series as the big mover, the big shaker for these guys, and now are 1 game away from being 1-2 and having 3 convincing series that makes them potentially middle of the pack here in Group Ascend.
Yeah, and that's looking like the floor too. If these teams, this team continues to scale up, which is what they've been doing all season long, by the way. It feels like they started off, they were dirt bad in winter, man. They were bad.
They were riding 3 bad.
They were, it feels rude. He's not on the come up like the other guys are, but everybody was bad in winter. And then they start to win games. They start to be in the middle of Group Nirvana in spring. They win that play-in series, and now they're starting to contend up here, taking games off of TES, BLG, and now looking like EDG is on the ropes. See if they're going to be able to close out this series and keep that journey going. After a quick break here, do want to shout out the coffee. Remember, that is the best place
You gotta
to
pay your
contribute.
bills.
That is the best place to contribute to LPL English. It's the best place to help me pay my bills that are littering this desk. All of your contributions do go towards improving the broadcast and for paying creators and broadcasters for the stream. It also gives you unique access to our on-site interviews as well as to early content like the LPL English podcast. It's a great time. We hope you see you there, and we hope to see you all back here